What is going on, everyone? Nostalgia925 coming at you with another Digimon comparison video. The series of videos where we compare the Digimon franchise to other franchises, not just for the sake of it, but also to, I guess, kind of make Digimon a bit more relevant considering the many endless possibilities this series has. Trust me when I say it, when you look at the power levels, when you look at the historical and mythological inspiration, when you look at the designs, there is simply too much to talk about. Digimon is an absolute dime. For this video I went through the different comments and one in particular caught my attention and got me extremely curious. Chio Muoma wrote the following comment in the explaining Seedramon Digivolution line video. Do Arceus vs Chronomon Holy Mode, Judgment vs Holy Flare, Hyper Beam vs Corona Blaster. Go Chronomon Holy Mode. Well, why not compare Arceus and Chronomon and see what we can learn from it? I'm sure it is going to be extremely interesting. Let us get right into it. To tell you the truth, my good friends, it is the first time I actually heard of Arceus. Chances are that I am even mispronouncing the name because of it. Now, before making the comparison, I think it is best that we first go into their respective backgrounds. Well, for the Pokémon Arceus, I guess it would be more of a mythological story, considering that the Pokémon is the creator and thereby God. To know more about this God creature, we will first take a look at what is written in the Pokédex. I'm sure that the information in that Pokémon encyclopedia will prove useful. It is told that Arceus is seen as an alpha species. Alpha is the first letter in the Greek alphabet, but in Arceus' case, it would mean that the Pokémon is the beginning. Maybe a quick little fun fact, in the Digimon franchise, there are Digimon that have their names based on their Greek alphabet. Think of Alphamon, Betamon, Deltamon, and Omegamon, also called Omnimon. And Omega is, by the way, the last letter in the Greek alphabet. I always believed that these particular Digimon are linked, but that is something to be studied in another video. Arceus is about 3m20 m or 10'6" and weighs about 320 kg or 705 pounds, which is quite impressive considering that the height of Ash Ketchum is 5'5" or 1 m and 65 cm. Now, lucky for us, Arceus is a 4th generation Pokémon. We are lucky because in this generation we can find some sources that refer back to the creation of the Pokémon universe, and the region Sinnoh is said to be the first region ever created. According to the legends of Sinnoh, first there was nothing, an empty void, nothing, no light, no matter, nothing. And at some point an egg so happens to appear. There is no knowledge of how, we can't even say when, as time did not yet exist. Out of the egg came Arceus. It existed but had no physical body, as dimensions did not exist. And so Arceus created time and space which would allow matter to exist. In doing so, Arceus got its appearance, and when creating time and space, it also created 2 other Pokémon. Dialga was responsible for time and Palkia for space. However, in creating these 2 other Pokémon, there was a major problem. You see, Arceus, the god, is a perfect being, and I don't think you can expect something else from a god aside of being perfect. Dialga and Palkia were not perfect. They were not Arceus, and because of it, because of the creation of time and space, another Pokémon was accidentally created, Giratina, a creature opposed to Arceus, one that is extremely violent. It was banished though, but at least you know that the entity exists. It is there. After creating matter, Arceus created the spirit. For that, it made an egg out of which 3 different beings came out of. Uxie brought wisdom, Mesprit brought emotions, and Azelf brought will. After it, Arceus created the planet that would enable life. It created one original being that would be able to adapt and multiply. It created many of them to go and populate the earth. And after it, Arceus went into a deep sleep. It left the future of the earth in the hands of what we know as evolution. Dialga and Palkia disappeared in their respective universe. Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf went to sleep in 3 different lakes. This information came from the Kanalav library, the only library in Sinnoh that has shelves of books containing the myth. It is extremely interesting because the truth would be that Arceus is a god, and usually gods, or those creatures that are considered to be gods, they should have limitless power, even if we should take that with a grain of salt, and I will explain why. But let me first take a look at Chronomon. I think it is only fair that we also discuss its background before comparing. Chronomon is a mega level Digimon. In case you are a bit unfamiliar with the Digimon Digivolution stages, it all begins with Fresh, also known as Baby 1, In training, Rookie, that's when the Digimon becomes a child, Champion, also known as Adult, Ultimate, and after it, Mega. Mega in some contexts is also called Ultimate or even Ultra. When a Digimon is in its Mega form, you have to know that the power it can display might either be limited to even limitless depending on the Digimon. But pay attention, it is not because two Digimon are at the Mega stage that they are equal in power. One might be extremely overpowered for the other. That is why the power scaling in the Mega levels can be somewhat of a challenge to analyze. Chronomon is a Digimon derived from the Greek figure Kronos. But pay attention, we are not talking about the Greek titan Kronos. We are talking about Kronos, the personification of time. And time-based concepts like chronology, chronometer, or chronicle are all based on the concept Chronos. To tell you the truth, I would have loved to say a bit more about this mythological figure, but that is something I will have to do in the Mythological Conversation series. At least there, I can dedicate the entire video on that figure. But at least we get somewhat of a glimpse of what Chronomon's power would be all about. The legendary Digimon is born from the Ymir project, a project in Digimon World Dawn and Dusk that was started by City, a region divided into multiple areas with an office, a plaza, a square, and whatnot. The purpose of the Ymir project was to set a lifespan on Digimon in order to make them evolve like humans. The project was cancelled, but it produced the Chrono data in the form of the Super Ultimate Digimon Chronomon Holy Mode. Now that you have this information, we will take a look at what has been written about this battle in the Nostalgia Nat 5 community page. Andres Marrero, Zero Kura, and Wilfredo Vega sided with Arceus for the following reasons. The Pokémon is the absolute creator deity. It brought order and form to all that is. It is all Pokémon types at once. If attacked with anything corresponding one of its 18 types, attacks will be absorbed and nullified. And to finish, they said that Chronomon is maybe powerful, but is not the absolute creator deity of the digital world. Now, me personally, I would say that these are extremely good arguments. Indeed, when we are talking about one who created the universe and the very essence of life, obviously you would say that there should be no other entity that could defeat it. It really is a plausible argument, but to me, when it comes to anime in general, I always take this argument with a grain of salt, because with all respect, for starters, when you take, for example, a look at the Marvel Universe, there are mortals that defeated godlike entities. Dr. Doom, perhaps my favorite villain and character, is one example.
It is Doom who should be worshipped. Even gods fall before Doom's might.
In the anime or cartoon world, even gods have known to bite the dust. So I would say that the argument of Arceus being the creator, even if it is a good one, I will have to say that it is not very valid. And if there are complaints, let me show you something that might maybe stop that argument. Really, at the moment you are capable of catching the creator god, the one who created time and space, spirit, will, devotion and life, at the moment you can catch such a powerful entity in a Pokeball, I repeat, a Pokeball, clearly created by inferior beings, that only proves that Arceus is not unbeatable. The Shadow in the Mask, Shake GB1, Matok the Iter, Anthony Ailman, Blazing Arcanine and Gohan no Super Saiyan Z are sided with Chronomon with the following arguments. They say that Arceus is an ultra-powerful idiot that doesn't comprehend its power. Chronomon, whether it is in Destroy mode or Holy mode, might make a significant difference in the battle. They also say that Arceus can only be one type at a time. And to finish, one of the most extremely interesting arguments, Arceus almost died to a meteor in the movie while it had all of its plates on it. And there are a few Digimon that can summon meteors to attack, like Insekimon and Superstarmon. Both are just ultimates, while Chronomon is a mega. I can easily see Arceus losing this fight. Now, despite it being a very interesting argument, Andres Marrero, that sided with Arceus, gave an interesting counter-argument. He said the following: most people would bring up the whole meteor, but that is quite simply plot-induced stupidity. Arceus literally and single-handedly created all of reality, including time and space itself. A single meteor shouldn't have done anything, and the only reason it did was because the writers needed Arceus in a compromising position for the plot. It does not line up with his lore and later depictions. That movie had a ton of writing issues and inconsistencies within it. Now, yeah, well, despite the fact that I love remaining neutral, still my only argument would be the following. Right. There is another group that did not really side with Chronomon or Arceus, but still had pretty interesting things to say. DIGIMON wrote the following. Not much known about Chronomon, so I'm not really sure besides that it is an ultra-level Digimon and one-shotted Alphamon in the DS game. And I would say that Alphamon alone is already extremely powerful, otherwise it wouldn't even be a part of the Royal Knights, the group of 13 mega-level Holy Knight Digimon seen as the digital world's last hope, with the intention to serve the gods of the digital world. If you can one-shot a member of that group, then you can consider yourself either extremely fortunate or extremely powerful. And Mark7123 continued by saying that the battle would indeed be 50-50, even though I, or him, has never seen Arceus use a one-hit KO. A simple argument, but still this does bring a lot of depth when it comes to this battle. Both sides have extremely valid arguments, to be honest, and to me it is extremely difficult to take a side, because on the one hand, Arceus is known as the creator god, so its powers should be limitless, and yet when you have inconsistencies in the plot and people bring that up as an argument, you really cannot ignore that. You will have to take that into account. That would actually mean that Arceus' powers is maybe a bit too overrated. So the truth is that I, or maybe all of us, would need a bit more of a clarification from those that know Arceus a bit more, for those that know Arceus' powers a bit more. There is a comment of Alan Tang that is also interesting. The comment says the following. Wouldn't Zed Millenniummon be a better pick since he is an evil god type Digimon that is in the X-Ross manga, and it is shown being able to destroy universes, and in the WonderSwan games he is depicted as a multiversal threat. A very interesting comment, but my question would be whether Zed Millenniummon might maybe even be a bit too much for Arceus. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. But I might make another video about it. I will make sure to announce it in the Nostalgia Nut 5 community. That way you can come up with your own arguments which I can use in the next video. But the truth is, when it comes to this battle, I would personally say that normally it would be Arceus that would come out stronger, considering its background. But with those plot issues, which by the way were formed by those Pokémon developers that hopefully took that background into account, I would say I have some troubles when it comes to measuring the power of that Pokémon. I mean, with all respect, but at the moment a god is almost killed by a meteor, which was created by that very god, probably, I cannot consider that god to be serious at all. I might even go as far as to go to that library in Sinnoh and ask the readers to really take everything that is written about Arceus with a grain of salt. I'd like to end the video with a very interesting comment of Andres Marrero that said the following. Fun fact, Arceus' form, personality and even his name is the result of taking all the creation deities from mythology all over the globe and fusing them together. Arceus' name does directly translate to High God, but it also refers to Arceus, which is the densest part of the astral plane and what allows gods to interact with the physical plane. Some believe that it is God. Well, it is always extremely interesting to know more about the inspiration that created certain Pokémon or Digimon, because in the end, it is those inspirations that truly show how deep one franchise can go. Hey guys, this is the end of the video. Really a big thank you guys for your comments. I would suggest that you write down in the comment section who you really think would come out stronger, Arceus or Chronomon. And please guys, don't forget to elaborate. I always love reading your comments, otherwise I would never use them for the different videos I make for you. If you guys are new, please do not forget to subscribe. I'm going to do my best to give Digimon the proper attention it deserves and help the franchise to grow and gain more popularity. And again, for the newcomers, you have to know that all my videos are placed in different playlists which are always updated. Take for example the Mythological Conversation playlist, a playlist where I only talk about those mythological creatures that inspired the making of certain Digimon. You can find all those videos in their respective playlists which are always updated. That way you can catch up on the newest and the oldest videos.